welcome or welcome back, and welcome to the TS12 era, aka the life of a showgirl. Today I am going to be talking all things the life of a showgirl while I make some friendship bracelets. I have my friendship bracelet equipment here. I have 4 different boxes of friendship bracelets. Let's talk all things TS12. Let's go. So I honestly don't even know really where to start with this because we've got a lot to talk about. So I'm going to start with, what am I going to start with? You know what? The thing that I'm going to talk about first is the thing that I'm most excited about, I think, from this whole album. The track that I'm claiming is The Life of a Showgirl, the title track featuring Sabrina Carpenter. I know it's the final track on this album, but firstly, it is the track that I'm claiming, the track that I'm looking most forward to. Yeah, I don't think that the world is ready. I don't think you're gonna want to know the type of person I'm going to become on that day. So the reason why I want to talk about this one first is because do you remember the show where Travis went on stage at the Eras tour and undressed Taylor and put her in like a showgirl outfit, basically moving her to the era from the Tortured Poets to the showgirl era? We all remember that? We obviously know that was an Easter egg for going into this era, but I do think that that was also an Easter egg for this track with Sabrina Carpenter. I do also think the phone call before Taylor performed her surprise songs with Sabrina at that one show was also a big Easter egg.
What are you doing? Why are you here with us? What are you doing right now?
Obviously, I'm on a roller coaster. I'm somewhere where everyone is screaming so loud.
I know, it's weird. I'm somewhere where people are screaming really loud too. Here's the thing, Sabrina, is there any chance you could get off the roller coaster you're on and like put on some clothes and just like come down to the stadium real quick?
So I think that roller coaster could be a lyric or some kind of theme throughout the song The Life of a Showgirl, and obviously put on some clothes is also a lyric. I don't really know what the two correlate though, or if there is any sort of link between putting on clothes and being on a roller coaster. So the reason why I'm linking these 2 different things, or 3 different things I suppose, is because Sabrina posted a picture saying something along the lines of get your clothes on or put some clothes on, and on the phone call before Sabrina joined Taylor on stage for the surprise songs, Taylor says something very similar, and then this obviously all links to the fact that Travis undresses Taylor and puts her showgirl costume on. I'm also realising how hard this is gonna be to talk while I make friendship bracelets. So I think that the best place to really start this video is at the start of the showgirl era. I'm just gonna use showgirl as an acronym for this whole era. But the era of The Life of a Showgirl started at the end of the Eras Tour era. On the last show of the Eras Tour, Taylor walked into a orange door which was at the back of the stage. I mean, we already know that Taylor Swift is a mastermind. So we know that this era it's all about what she faced behind the scenes at the Eras Tour. To start the era, she literally walks into the back of the stage of the Eras Tour, like she is heading in the direction of where this era is. Going on from that, do you remember when Taylor performed August and The Other Side of the Door? Yeah? I mean, I feel like we should have all questioned why she was playing August as a surprise song when it's already on the set list.
I can see it's lost in the memory. I
scary how far in advance this album could have been planned, or I don't know. I mean, the whole thing about Applause, the song Applause by Lady Gaga, is 12 this year, and this is Taylor Swift's 12th album. I don't think that Taylor Swift was planning on releasing the Tortured Poets Department. Like, I don't think that was a planned album at all. She announced this album on the 224th day of the year, and at exactly 2:04 on the Eras tour clock, that's when Applause started to play. So next I'm going to talk about the album cover, because I think that this is such an interesting album cover. I think on first look at the album cover, I really loved it. The more I look at it, the more I don't love it as much as I did. I still do like it. I just think that there's something off about the way that the text is placed. Can't really explain it. I think it would look much better if there was no text at all. And the picture, the image of her in like a bathtub, firstly, I knew it reminded me of something and I didn't know what, and that was simply just the Look What You Made Me Do music video. I feel like this album could have quite a lot of rep vibes. The art cover is very significant, and I think this is what everyone's talking about. Firstly though, I want to talk more about the art cover. Around the art cover are like shattered pieces of the image, so that relates a lot to lyrics in I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, or the pieces of me shattered as the crowd was chanting more. And I think we can all agree and we can all assume that this album is gonna have major I Can Do It With a Broken Heart vibe. I also think that this could relate to Mirrorball, so we could have a lot of different folklore references, which I'll get into. Obviously Mirrorball, the song, is quite related to Taylor's experience in the public eye. So the part which everyone is talking about in relation to the cover art and the track list. So track 1 is called The Fate of Ophelia. I think I'm saying that right. If you don't know who Ophelia is the love interest in the play Hamlet. So she is Hamlet's love interest. She's defined by her relationships with men. But I haven't actually ever seen Hamlet, so I've got all this information off TikTok, so it might not all be accurate. I don't know if Taylor's gonna talk about how she relates to Ophelia in that way. So Ophelia is forced to break up with Hamlet because her father and her brother don't know what his true intentions are. And this leads to Hamlet being K-worded by Hamlet. And so Ophelia deals with this by singing about love and betrayal, and I don't know if she's like referred to as like a mad woman. That word is quite apparent in the way that people have described how she acts. So keep this word mad in mind, because on Folklore Taylor has a song called Mad Woman, so I don't know whether I might be reaching here. There could be some parallels to Folklore in that sense. So, thinking back to the art cover, the last part of the story is that Ophelia ends up drowning in a lake, in a river, under a willow tree. A willow tree? You know, Taylor Swift has a song called Willow. I don't know whether that relates to anything. Do we remember as well that part of the Eras tour where Taylor Swift dives off stage? That could also have been a massive Easter egg. So another thing that could relate to the whole theme of drowning, which is probably a reach again, but do you remember the lyrics in The Bolter that say she almost drowned when she was 6 in frigid water? So this obviously links to the album cover, because on the album cover Taylor is like drowning sort of in water, and the fact that you can't really see much of her body other than her head could suggest that she's like only showing you what she wants you to see. This could also relate back to the kind of mirror ball sense. It's giving that sort of mirror ball, like fragmented sense of what you see. So I also forgot to mention, and this is such a little thing, because she's only showing you what she wants us to see. It gives the sense of maybe like keeping a head above water, and that's also relating to we don't see what goes on backstage and behind the scenes. But there is basically a painting, I believe it's a painting of Ophelia, and it's quite similar to the album cover of Taylor in the water. So another thing I forgot to mention was Ophelia's relationship with her father could link to another track on the album, which is Father Figure. I don't really know what to expect from this song. Maybe it's got nothing to do with Ophelia, but I'm expecting or hoping for some F-men badass vibes from this song. I don't really know. I expect the unexpected going into Taylor Swift, and that is the fun of it. I think the funnest part of being a Swiftie is being wrong about everything. So this is one of my friendship bracelets, and I don't know how well you can see that at all. And then I made this other one, but I don't think it's long enough to be a friendship bracelet. It just says Showgirl, because I don't really wear friendship bracelets, but I basically just make them into bag charms and I put them on my bag. I will show you, by the way. So this is what my bag looks like. Yeah. So, and then in the front pocket of this is all the Eras Tour bracelets that people gave me. So I don't really know where this part fits into the video, because I don't even really know what it means, but I did want to add that I think that the number 47 has some relevance, some meaning, because she mentioned it, I think, on the podcast, and there's probably a lot that we missed on the podcast, which now just thinking about it, yeah, probably should have looked into that a little bit more. But I think she mentioned the number 47, and that is such a specific number. So I think I'm gonna stop making friendship bracelets because it's too hard to focus on two things at once. I don't know how people do get ready with me's. I suppose I've spoken about the fate of Ophelia. I don't really know what vibe I'm expecting from the song. So track 2 is Elizabeth Taylor. Now, I am gonna be honest here, I don't really know who Elizabeth Taylor is. Maybe I should. I do think that this song is giving major Clara Bow vibes. Other than that, my only other theory relates to folklore. So on folklore we have a song called Betty, and this is probably a reach, but this song could have some relation to or parallel to Betty, because like Elizabeth is the long form of Betty. Opalite. Now I did see a post on this as well. So if we take it back to the colours of the album and the fact that they're orange and there's like a mint blue. I've seen a lot of people say that this could relate to the Statue of Liberty. The fact that when the Statue of Liberty was first created, it was like golden, but then that colour starts to rust. It's not shining anymore. I think that this could really relate a lot to the whole meaning of like Clara Bow, especially as a woman in the music industry, which is also expressed very well in Clara Bow. There's that idea that there's always going to be that next female rising star that's going to like take your place. Over time, the ideology of what it is to be a woman changes. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well, but I think it could relate to that. Other than that, I actually didn't know what Opalite was. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. Track 4, I've kind of already said my theories, my thoughts on Father Figure. So we're going to move to track 5. We all know what track 5 means, and this time, I feel like every time we get a new track 5, I get more and more concerned, worried, and scared, and this time I am terrified because as an eldest daughter, the track is called Eldest Daughter and it's a track 5 and it comes after a song called Father Figure. So I don't really want to comment on that. Just know I'm not looking forward to this one. And I just know it's gonna hurt. I know it is. Moving on to track 6, Ruin the Friendship. This is giving major rap vibes. I think it could have like dress energy. What other like sexy Taylor Swift songs are there? Maybe like False God, I Can See You maybe. I don't really like to think about like what songs could be about before going into an album. I think the beautiful thing about music though is you can relate a song to whatever feels right, because there isn't a wrong way to view something like that. It's subjective, and you know, if you can personally relate to the song in a complete different way to what the song is actually about, then you're not wrong for doing that. Anyway, moving on to track 7, Actually Romantic. Now, my first thoughts was this could be like a continuation of track 6, Ruin the Friendship, and like a part 2. However, I'm thinking with Taylor Swift, like I say, you don't actually know what to expect. So again, I was sort of thinking it could be a ballad, a love song, could relate to her and Travis, but like I say, I don't really like to think about what the song is about to Taylor. However, this song could just be flipping the perspective on what is romantic, and she could be saying that something that isn't romantic is actually romantic, or something that she never viewed as being romantic is romantic because it's actually romantic. Track 8 is called Wish List, and I have got nothing. I also should point out that the S's are like Kesha signs, like dollar signs. The only vibe I'm getting from this song is 7 Rings by Ariana Grande. Another song I have absolutely no idea, literally nothing more to say, is track 9, Wood. What do you mean? The most random Taylor Swift title. So track 10 is called Cancelled, all in capital letters with a big fat explanation point at the end. What could she be talking about here? Could she be going back to 2016? This is what I mean by getting rap vibes, right? The fact that this album, though, we know is about behind the scenes of the Eras tour. I don't know, what was she cancelled for during the Eras tour? And what was she cancelled enough during the Eras tour enough to write a song about? Maybe this isn't about her, or maybe this is about being cancelled in a different way. A show being cancelled. So track 11 is also a track which I have no idea, nothing to say. It's called Honey. I can't even imagine Taylor Swift saying the word honey. Is that like a pet name? I don't know. And obviously track 12 is the title track, featuring Sabrina Carpenter, The Life of a Showgirl. I've already mentioned what I think about that track. Honestly, I don't even really care about what it sounds like. I'm just so excited for a Sabrina collab. But talking about collabs, so apparently Taylor Swift liked a tweet that was suggesting or moving towards an Ariana Grande collab, and let me tell you, when I saw that she liked this, or I'm still not even 100% sure this is even a real thing, but when I saw that this was supposed to be a thing that she did, I actually couldn't process it properly, and I still can't quite process it, so I'm just like not thinking about it that much. But the thought of a Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande collab is actually making me speechless. It's bringing me, like, my brain is going blah, 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 like 100 miles per hour, and I can't actually put my Swiftie brain to rest. Yeah, just know that if Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande were ever gonna collab, I don't think you'd ever hear from me again. I don't think you would even want to know the woman that I become. I wouldn't want to know the woman I become if that happened. And it also made me create this fantasy that Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande have a collab together, have a song together, and then I go and see Ariana Grande on tour next year, which is another thing that would also make me freak out. That's a separate thing though. And on that show, she brings Taylor Swift out as like a surprise guest, and I watch them sing their collab together. My Swiftie brain is going to Lulu as per, but also, if I was to see Taylor Swift live and she was to bring out Sabrina Carpenter as a surprise guest, the possibility of Taylor Swift doing another tour next year, I just don't think that's even on the cards. I don't think a tour is even what Taylor's thinking about right now. If anything, and I think that this is like actually such a genius idea, is if Taylor did a Vegas I can't speak, can I? If Taylor did a Vegas residency, that would be iconic. And I think if anything, she's gonna do that. I don't really know that much about Vegas residencies. I can't even say the bloody word. But maybe not this year, maybe next, she would do like a Vegas residency. So another thing I actually forgot to mention, and I don't even know what the significance of this could be. I don't think it actually relates anything to Taylor Swift. However, Taylor Swift is releasing an album called The Life of a Showgirl, and Jade is releasing her first solo album, and that is called That's Showbiz Baby. That's right, isn't it? It's interesting that both of these artists are releasing an album so close together, by the way, about showbiz. And I was so worried they were gonna release on the same day because I love both artists. But if Taylor Swift is releasing an album, you bet my whole day is just for that. I think it's also worth mentioning October 3rd. Taylor Swift has literally rewritten what October 3rd means. Before The Life of a Showgirl, October 3rd was the day for Mean Girls and only Mean Girls. And I mean, maybe after this year it can go back to the Mean Girls Day, but for October 3rd, 2025, it is purely just for The Life of a Showgirl. I think that is pretty much everything that I have to say about this album. Let me know what you guys think, and I hope I made somewhat sense in this video. I've got quite a lot of ideas. I struggle to put them into one thing, especially while making friendship bracelets. That's a challenge. If you want to see more videos like this, do let me know. But yeah, I will see you in some time in the future. Goodbye.